Hey all, this is Morty back with another video, and this time it's about a little drama going on Project Quarm right now. Um, I'm gonna try to not name names and try to not be overly specific about some things that have been said to protect the parties that have talked about it. So I guess the first thing is that there's some rumors going around that some GMs are in some guilds that raid and complete raid content. So um, there's that. I don't know the specifics or if it's true. Um, One of the things that I think about in accordance to that is that um, I guess I would look at it from my perspective. Man, if I wanted to play the game as a GM and have fun on a non GM character, um, I would love to still be part of groups and part of a guild and be able to do raid content, but I don't know if I should be one that makes any decisions in the server related to loot or guilds, and anything that would happen with that guild, I would make sure that I'm not part of. Yeah, like any decision makings, or I don't know what else could potentially happen, but I would stray away from that myself. I don't know if there's any rules set up by Secrets for um, GMs playing the game. Um, I'm all about it. The more players and more interactions that we get, the better. Just so long as there's no insider trading or favoritism or decisions that are made based on their experiences, because they're only seeing part of the truth, I guess you could say. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about is some conversation around disbanding or blowing up smaller guilds and not allowing them to raid. So there was a question brought up by someone about um, to a GM, I guess I can say this, in regards to smaller guilds having alliances in this game. So Quarm, what first interested me about Quarm is, some new rule sets that it had, how fun and easily accessible it was, how inclusive it was, how the system has changed over the years to be more supportive of people with families and jobs that work unusual hours, so they can get on and group with their guild and be able to do something. Um, and part of Quorum's history is allied raiding, and that's, you know, through Classic it was Fear and Hate and Sky. There were so many allied raids happening um, through all of Quorum's history. Okay, and it's not just like two specific guilds. It's happened for more guilds throughout the history of the server. And like with instancing and loot lockouts, I think that there's no real problem with being able to band together as two smaller guilds to complete content, especially now that we're getting into an era where a lot of the content is no drop. So this stuff isn't inflating the market. It's not um, because of lockouts. You're not getting more loot on one character than you would have um, because of how alliances work and how guilds determine their loot structure. If there's any time where you could do an instance, um, you have a big portion of your guild that's uh, potentially gonna bid on loot that's not part of your guild. So so the guild, the power, I guess, is spread out more, right? So I just don't really see a reason why we should prevent people from attempting content and being able to succeed with lower numbers if it's an alliance. There was a comment about how if your guild cannot do the content by themselves, then they won't get an instance to be able to do it. And I think that that is just detrimental to the health of the server. I think that if they want um, they want the server to succeed and continue to grow, they need to have a bunch of different guilds on the server, a bunch of different guilds able to do things, um, and penalizing a couple guilds that can work together to get something done um, because they get two instances is just not healthy for the game. And with loot lockouts, I mean it's obvious right there why, because all the power is not going to one guild, and there's no duplication of power because of the lockouts. I can't get on my main two pieces of necro gear before my lockout's up. So it's it's not making me any more powerful than I would be. If I have to bring an alt to the second raid to do something, I could get my alt powered up, but then I'm going up against an entire guild of um, alts or second characters or whatever, all trying to do the same thing, and it's not that that character is gonna push us further than we've been before. Um, I don't know how to better uh, explain to this to the haters. Um, if we got 4 instances for Vexthal, realistically, you're not gonna clear Vexthal 4 times with, say, 4 guilds working together in a night or 4 nights. I mean, like, and the power that comes from that. I mean, if you think of it, you don't want to bring your main to any of those raids. You want to bring an alt to all of them, because if your main gets locked out on the first raid and nothing dropped for you, then you're going to miss out on loot on that second, third, or fourth, or 100th raid, right? So that it doesn't make sense, because you're not bringing the powerful characters to those raids if you want loot for them. It's just an unrealistic perspective that people that haven't had an alliance think that all this loot is going towards people. And why does it matter? I mean, like, it's not hurting you. I'm not fighting you for the loot. You're getting your own loot. Does the number on my character that says hit points or DPS, does that affect you and your guild and your instances? It has nothing to do with you at all. So why are people complaining about this? I just don't get it. I want to play the game. I enjoy Quarm. I went to other servers and played on them, and it was too OP for me, or too strict for me. And I liked how Quarm was. I don't know if these rules are going to stick, if they're going to get bent, if um, ideas are going to change. Hopefully this video can help with some perspective so that, you know, small guilds don't disappear. Because I think when the small guilds disappear, it's a loss for the server. And I think that it's a loss for kind of like the community. I really wish that the best for Quarm. I want to see it all the way through, but I want for people to listen less to the trolls and the complaining and kind of think of the perspective and what Quarm was to me and my perspective on Quarm. And you know, maybe I'm just totally wrong. God, I hope not. I just want people to, you know, like, bring more to the table besides your character has different numbers than mine and that's not fair. Because I'm not competing with you. You can make this video. You can have a better necro than me. I mean, I'll disagree with it, but I'm just having fun, you know. I want to have fun, but if I'm forced to be in some other guilds because mine gets exploded because you know, of an instance rule, why don't we just, you know, think of resolutions to that problem besides saying that there's absolutely no way we can have alliances. I think myself that lockouts, you know, are the answer, and it's been, I mean, it works. It's been in practice since we've had instances. Lockouts prevent my character from getting loot. If, you know, like the way that I got my book from Hate is not bringing my necro to every single raid because of the lockout thing. So, I mean, maybe that's just goes against my whole argument there, but it's in reality, if I get a piece of loot because of whatever option that is in the rules for the server, why are people complaining about that? I used my DKP. You know, like, I'm not, there's no dupe that gives me and somebody else loot on the same night. You know, like, there's no dupes. I'm not taking advantage of AAXP bugs. I'm not, you know, like, I don't know. I guess that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully they let alliances stay because I like my friends. And my friends aren't all in the same guild. And I'm sorry that that's just a reality. Um, I've made friends in different guilds. And I like to play the game with them, and I hope the server rules don't change that. So that's it for me. Hopefully I'll see you again in the future. Peace.